Ann Doherty here, and I want to talk today a little bit about the inviting process. Okay, so we shared a little bit about sampling, right? So now we're really going to get in deep about the whole inviting process. Okay, so um, a lot of times we talk about you want to make sure that you have, we teach you the sampling process because we want you to follow the process and because it really does make for the best success. But sometimes the samples may not precede the invitation, right? And that's totally, absolutely okay. And it works really great if you are dealing with friends and family because a lot of times those friends and family networks, they really there's a lot of organic relationship that happens there and organic conversation that happens there. So sometimes the invitation does not necessarily, or the sample does not necessarily always come before the invitation, and that's 100% okay. But um, if you do send out an invitation, you're meeting, you're having lunch with your sister, and you're like, hey, you know what? I've got this class coming up, and I would really love if you would come. I think there's going to be a lot of great information there for you. Would you like me to drop you off a sample before the class? That is a really organic way to make that kind of thing happen where the sample has not happened before the invitation. Okay. So you can always offer to throw a sample in the mail. Let's say you were having a Facebook class or something like that. You can always offer to throw a sample in the mail, or you can offer to drop a sample off by their house. Okay. Um, so really what we want to do is we really want to make sure that they have a good foundation of information available to them so that they feel good about the buying process. And this all happens before the class. Okay, so there's this thing, it's called the law of four interactions. And basically, somebody wants to have a good experience with your product and with you before they will make a buying decision. Okay, they're not going to just buy off the cuff and be like, hey, yeah, I heard that this is great, so I just want to go ahead and buy a whole kit. That's not how it works. All right, that's not how it works. um, that's why we have an advertising department. That's why we have in big companies. That's why these advertisers get paid big money. Well, we don't have advertisers, we have us, the wellness advocates, right? So we want to make sure that people get four touches basically before the class starts. Okay, so the first touch is actually usually going to be the sample, right? So um, you are at your kid's school and you notice that this mom is really struggling with ABC, and you have a sample and you can give her that sample. Okay, or um, you know however it is that you're going to get that sample into their hands. So the sample is usually the first interaction. That's the first touch. The second touch is usually you sending them some information on that sample. So if you give somebody a sample of Deep Blue, you want to follow that sample up with some really great quality information, whether that is a pamphlet that you've handed or that you've printed and handed to them, whether that's something that you have sent to them online, a reference back to a blog or a science research study or something like that. Okay, so that's the information. That's going to be your second touch. Your third touch is actually going to be following up with that information with either a call or a text, and just checking in and seeing how did it go? How did you like that? What worked for you? How did you feel afterwards? The fourth touch is actually going to be the class. That's the meat of the class. So you invite them, you get them to the class. That is the fourth interaction. So that's where they are going to feel the most comfortable um, after that fourth interaction with making a buying decision. If the class is their first or second interaction, the likelihood of them making a buying decision that evening is pretty low. Now, sometimes it can take up to 10, 11 touches before somebody makes a buying decision. I actually had a gal that I had been talking to for about 3 years before she finally made her buying decision. So don't give up. Some people, it takes more than 4 touches, but four, the law of 4 interactions is a pretty great rule to go off of. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to talk about some tips on the whole inviting process and what that looks like. So the very first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to reach out to your person. Okay. Whether that is sending them a text, or a private message, or best yet is actually a face-to-face conversation or a phone call. Okay. Something that's really, really personal. People like that personal touch. What people do not like is being one of 100 mass invitations that you have put out there on Facebook or Messenger or text. If they get, I know if I get a very generic text or a very generic message, I can see right through it and I know exactly what they're doing. And I don't like that feeling. It makes me feel kind of yucky. So I would encourage you to not do mass text messages, okay, invitations. So a lot of times what I will do is I will literally sit there and scroll through my phone and go, oh, you know what? I do remember talking to Donna about, her, I don't know, her dog's such and such issue. Okay. So in that moment, then what I will do is I will actually take a few minutes, do a tiny bit of research, think through whatever it is that she was specifically talking about, and send Donna a message regarding that. Hey, Donna, it's Anne. I was just thinking about you. I remember when we were talking the other day at my sister's house about your sweet dog Jenny, and I know that you were worried about blah blah blah, and so I actually got to thinking about it, and I came across this today. I love that one. Hey, I stumbled across this information today, and it really made me think about you. Okay. Um, I'm having a class that's going to be, happening on Tuesday at 7 o'clock at my house. And this is one of the topics that we're going to be talking about. So I really wanted to shoot this I wanted to make sure that you got this invitation to the class because I think that it's going to be really great for you, specifically talking about XYZ. Okay. So you really, really, really do want to make it personal. This is a relationship business. This is not a transactional business. We are in a relationship business, and that is a big difference than that's one of the models for why doTERRA went with a direct sales model as opposed to just putting it on a health food store shelf, right? Putting their products on a health food store shelf. They knew that the relationship was absolutely critical to getting oils into every home. Okay. So people want to be welcomed and they want to be thought about. They don't want to be just your next business transaction or to feel like they're trolled if they get a big mass message. So another really great thing is be really enthusiastic about the class. Be super excited about what you've got going on. If you're sending a text, use exclamation points, send some cute emojis. You don't want to be like over the top obnoxious about it. Be authentic. You're authentically you. But if you're like, hey girl, oh my gosh, I'm super excited. I've got this class going on and I would really love it if you would be there. I was thinking about what you said the other night and it really made me think that this might be something that would help you in situation ABC, as opposed to, hey, so I started this new like oil thing, and I'm gonna have a class at my house on Tuesday night at 7, and it would be really cool if you would come. That would make me feel really good, right? Do you see the difference? Okay, so convey that also. You can convey that in text message. Honestly, I think that email is probably the least personal, so I tend to stay away from email. I do a lot of messenger, and I do a lot of texting. I definitely do some in face-to-face stuff. That's my favorite because I'm really communicational like that and relational. Um, but I kind of tend to stay away from email. That seems really like kind of dry and impersonal and that sort of thing. So that's just my own personal preference, but whatever works for you is totally fine. Let's see. Oh yeah, then you can also say, you know, you want to let them know what they're going to get personally out of the class, but then you're also going to, you can say, oh, and by the way, we're going to have peppermint brownies. Yay. How exciting is that? I love peppermint brownies. So you really want them to feel lucky to be invited to your class, like that you specifically reached out to them because you want them at your class, not that you want some butts in the seats, right? That you want just people at your class. No, 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 that you specifically want them at your class. And why do you want them at your class? So just make it really, warm it up, make it really personal, okay? So another thing that you can do is, which I think is super fantastic when you're first starting out growing your business, is to have a lineup of 3 or 4 different classes that are happening within the next week or two. Okay. So I've heard of people actually taking and creating like a little postcard or a graphic on Canva or PicMonkey, and with the different classes lined out so that you know exactly what it is that you're teaching, and then you can send that to people and create that little postcard or that little graphic and send it to people within your contact list and just say, hey, I've got these 4 classes coming up in the next couple of weeks. Which one of these sounds the best to you? Which one will work for you? What time works for you? What day works for you? So that is a really great way. You don't even have to print up postcards. You can literally send it digitally. Okay. So that's a really great way to kind of get maximize the number of people, because if you only offer one class and you offer it at a time that does not work for half of your list or 3/4 of your list, you're going to be really bummed, and you're not going to be, you're not going to walk away from that feeling successful if you've only got one person that shows up. Okay. So set up 3 or 4 different classes in a week to 2-week period, and specifically invite people. Hey, which one? I thought you would really look at, thought this class would be really great one for you because blah, 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 whatever that is. Okay. So, and then, this is super important as you're planning for Elite to get those classes on the books. So if you're like, I'm not ready to teach 4 classes, that's okay. That's okay. You're getting there, and being in this camp is one of the best things that you can possibly do to get yourself prepared for that. But if you need help, reach out. Reach out to somebody that's local in your area. If you don't have somebody local in your area, reach out to those of us on here. Those of us coaches, we can help you. Okay, there's great technology with Skype and Zoom and all of those things. We can help you with that. So just reach out. Okay. Um, let's see. One last thing. Oh, it's really important to do reminders. Okay. So once you have invited people to the class, you want to remind. Okay. People are so incredibly busy. They get crazy bombarded. At least I know that I do. You get really bombarded with text messages and emails. Oh my God, the emails. I, if it comes to me an email is literally like the 3rd or 4th thing that I will check. So if it comes to me an email, I'm probably not gonna follow through on it. I'm probably gonna look at it 2 days later and go, dang it, I missed it. But a text message or a private message on Facebook, I'm gonna get that. Okay. And I will and I will kind of keep that in my mind fresher than an email. So reminders are super, super helpful for those who are busy and bombarded, because number one, it's literally a physical reminder that you've got something going on. Because as our days get busy, we're like, oh yeah, I knew I was supposed to do something tonight. What the heck was I going to do? Mm. Okay, well, I'm just going to go to the grocery store instead, right? Like I don't remember. I knew I had something to do, but I really need groceries, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so you want to you want to send them a reminder, whether that's a phone call, a text, or a message, 2 days in advance, and just say, hey, I'm really looking forward to seeing you on Thursday night at 7 o'clock at my place. I'm super excited because we've got, so and so is going to come and help me teach. I came across some really fantastic new information about. I really think that you're going to get a lot out of this particular topic, that kind of thing. Okay, just as that makes sense. So that's 2 days before. You're going to send them a really personal text or private message, something like that, or even give them a call. And then on the day of, you want to send a follow-up, just a super brief follow-up message 4 hours before the event. And basically, that is going to really kind of keep them from heading to the grocery store instead of heading to your event. Okay. So, and you really only want to send this to the people who 2 days before had said, "Hey, yeah, I really, I think that sounds great. I plan to come." Okay. So for those who have confirmed, you want to send it 4 hours before your event. So it's really, really important that we do the 4 hour thing because I mean, we've all done it. Let's be honest. I know I've done it where your day hasn't quite gone as planned. You were running late from getting home from work. The baby spit up on your shirt. The kids are being a mess. Your husband is, kind of grumpy or whatever the situation is. We've all done it. Or you're flat out not feeling it. Your hair's a wreck and you haven't showered in 2 days and you just don't want to go anywhere, right? But that 4 hour reminder really does help. And here's the thing. If if you don't send that 4 hour reminder, people are likely to skate out, right? I do it. I've done it. And I'm sure that you have too. So you don't want them to skate out on coming to your event. If we know that somebody is expecting us at an event and we have responded to their little reminder text, "Hey, great, good, can't wait to see you." If I've gotten a text 4 hours before an event, or a message, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, looking forward to it," I am so much less likely to skate out on the event than I would be if there was no reminder and it just like the time and the day and time just kind of came and went and it's gone, right? And then I'm like, "Oh shoot, I missed that. Oh, I'll catch the next one." Okay. So all of these things are going to, hopefully help you have a better success at getting a great show rate at your class, right? So all of the reminders, the sampling, all of these things, they really are going to help increase your show rate at your class. So don't beat yourself up if you have a class with no shows. It happens. It's happened to all of us. Anybody who has ever built a doTERRA business, it's happened. We've all had no shows, but you can't let it like totally wreck you. It's just we learn from the experience. We do better next time. It's not a foolproof experience or a foolproof plan, but it does help make a difference. So just really remember to build all of these things, build the reminders into your time block, build the sampling into your time block, build the following up into your time blocking. And all of these things will help you have a more successful class. All right. So I hope that helped. And I look forward to talking with you guys soon. And I'm just super proud of you guys for really taking this jump into business camp. I know it's a big commitment, but it really is your best option for success. So thanks, you guys. Have a great day.